Hey everyone, so I'm going to do my reflection today on the scriptures. And the scripture today, the New Testament one, is about turning the other cheek. And to put it into context, the people at that time were living under the Roman law. So they were living under harsh slave drivers, and they just did whatever they wanted with the people. Similar to what our governments are creating today. If you look at our world today, they, instead of putting systems into place that are going to help people come up, have a basic income, find good paid jobs, the opposite is happening, not just in Canada, but in many places in the world. And those of us who were once working at the executive level, earning over the equivalent of $70,000 a year, because I was earning $35 to $40 an hour in the banks, we're not getting those opportunities. So how do we reconcile that with what's happening today? So Jesus is dealing with a people that basically they don't have power in the system. The power was with the priests, the power was with the hierarchy, and the people who were in the authority in the churches. It worked in their benefit, or the whatever you want to call it, the religious organizations. It worked in their benefit to keep it that way, because then they would get the properties, they would get the land, they would get the best treatment, and people would come to them for answers. And they were basically powerless, especially the animosity between different sects, different types of Jews, and they didn't have that unity. So that's why he was telling them, turn the other cheek. Losing your cloak or your tunic in those days meant that you would be completely exposed to the elements, because they were very poor, or they were artisans, and if you lost that one tunic, it would be very hard for you. Just like when I used to walk with holes in my shoes. I only had one pair of shoes until 2017, and I had one pair of boots, one pair of shoes that I used for work, and my tackies. That's it. So when you are that poor, you take whatever people give you, isn't it? And you don't speak up, you don't retaliate if you have no power in the system. But for most of us who are educated today, who are in systems of professional organizations, who are in systems where we have Indian organizations coming together, we have companies like Tata Consulting, we have big companies where Indians are in leadership, we have a voice. So things are very different today compared to Jesus's time. Jesus overturned tables in the temples. He wasn't powerless, but he was telling people these things to save their lives. Because if they didn't respond that way, what happened to them is what happened to me in the call center. It's like, that's the policy, just do your job. Don't answer back. Don't say anything to the customer. If there's a problem, get a supervisor. You do not speak to them. I was treated like I was a 5-year-old. That's basically how I was treated, and I was disgusted with it. I was like, you must be kidding. They're like, no, we're not kidding. That's how this operation is run. I'm like, you must be kidding. They're like, no, don't say anything to them. I'm like, you know what? I worked in this country from 2002, and now I have to come here and I have to take this bullshit. They're like, yes, you're dealing with the Americans. I don't care if they're American. Who are they? And they're like, no, don't say anything to them. I was like, you know what? This is rubbish. This is rubbish. Eventually, everybody started pushing back, and that's how things changed. And that's why we have a collective voice that comes together. Even in our job search strategies, in our culture, in our losing our languages, our indigenous languages, or our languages from Goa or India or wherever, people come together and they start pushing back. How come the Spanish people all keep their languages, and the Italians and the Portuguese? How come they all have their languages, but for us it's not handed down from generation to generation? It's racism. That's what it is. So we have to put it into context of what Jesus was dealing with. It doesn't mean that in this day and age we have to take it. We don't. Because look at what has happened. People have been killed. The police have kneeled on people's necks until they died. In the West, they shoot people in the back. They come into your home without signing in and they tell you, oh, I didn't sign in downstairs. It's like, oh, okay. You're telling me on purpose that you didn't sign in downstairs when there's a procedure in place. So, it's about understanding what the scripture's telling us and understanding when it's appropriate and when it's not. And it doesn't mean that we don't stand up to racism, to saying, yeah, we support white supremacy. Why should we? I'm somebody who survived apartheid. I'm somebody who's gone on protests. I'm somebody who signed petitions for my rights, to fight for my rights and other people's. And I don't use people. If people don't want to stand up for their human rights and they think that it should be just, I'm not interested, then that's fine. Don't do it. But when my life is on the line, I do it. I stand up for my human rights. I tell them, even in the workplace, like, you letting me go, this is wrong. After I gave you almost a decade of my life, you're just letting me go, and you're telling me when I come back, you're not even going to honor my tenure. This is wrong. I tell them, because I'm not powerless. I'm not uneducated. I'm a graduate of this country. I trained here. I went to school. I'm not powerless. In this day and age, nobody is powerless. You look at what's happening now, even with people are sleeping in Tim Hortons. People are sleeping on the streets. In a rich country like Canada, after you work hard, you study, you come up, you help people, it shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be happening. And it affects my life. It's not happening to some person out there. It's affecting people that I know. It's affecting my elders. It's affecting people who care about me in my family. So it has everything to do with me. And if other people are not interested because, now they got jobs, they got properties, they got everything, wait until it happens to you. Then you'll know. Then you'll be sitting and crying, saying, oh yeah, we should have supported Belinda. Oh, by then it's too late. And June 16th is coming up for South Africa. You don't have to be an adult to do it. You can do it as a child. You can sign petitions. You don't have to put your life at risk. You can do it with others. Those children that died in that June 16th massacre, they didn't have to die. They didn't have to die. And if you can say, well, oh yeah, what's happening in Memphis is just there. It won't happen to us. It will. If we don't speak out about it, it will happen to us. It will. And so I speak out about it. I challenge them. I stand with the church when I can. Sometimes I even stand up to the church if I have to. But it matters. If couples tell me, or I get messages through people, don't interfere in my relationship, I don't interfere. I leave them. And then they'll say, oh, well, why didn't you tell us? So when I told you, I got blasted. I got blasted by the elders in the family. You do what you want. Let other people do what they want. Then when everything crumbles, then they want to turn around and blame me. Oh no, that's not how it works. You're old enough to know and to make your own decision. Then afterwards, don't sit and cry. If we don't stop it now, it's just going to continue. You look at what's happening in Memphis. You look at what's happening here in Toronto. There's nowhere left to go. And if you think that, oh yeah, it's okay for the white supremacists to come up, it's not. It's not. Why are we being blocked? Why am I being blocked from getting into good paid executive assistant jobs? I was a good executive assistant at TD, at Credit Suisse. I worked in project management at HSBC. I worked as a consultant. I was earning over $35 an hour. So why isn't that translating into an annual salary of over $70,000 an hour? It's racism. And they want to make you powerless. They want to make you voiceless. They want you to be in those positions like I got, where they can tell you, don't say anything, don't answer the customer, just do your job. That's what they want. And people are saying, no, that's not acceptable. And you know what? I'm glad the unions formed at Teleperformance, because I could have died on the job. And no one cared. That's the hard part. No one cared. So people should put that scripture into context, because Jesus doesn't support injustice. He doesn't. He doesn't support injustice. He fights for it just like he fought for his life. And that's what we do as Christians. It might be a non-violent way of fighting, signing petitions and the things that we're doing, but we are fighting for justice. Why should the people who support injustice always come out on top and have the good paid jobs and the good salaries and the support of everyone? Why were calls coordinated and put through to the call center so people could swear at me and shout at me and say I have a shitty attitude when they're the ones with the shitty attitude? It's bullshit. That's what it is. I'm not doing anything wrong. It has to happen. Things have to change, and they also have to change for me.